Last Sunday, we told you about a group of indigenous people from Guatemala in Canada seeking justice. Now, an update on their story. This small group of villagers says Canadian mining company Hudbay is responsible for horrific crimes. And as the CBC's Joanna Romiliotis explains, to get the justice they want, they have a long road ahead.
Every day they've walked together in borrowed hats and coats, making their way down cold Toronto streets. It's a show of unity and support as one by one they've taken turns going into a Bay Street tower to tell their story and to have it challenged. It's very painful to repeat all that happened to me, she says. It's like reliving what happened to me in 2007. Margarita Cal's story of gang rape is just one from this group of Guatemalan farmers who've come to Toronto to be cross-examined by lawyers representing Hudbay, a Canadian mining company. They're suing Hudbay for what they claim the security forces hired by the company did to them in Guatemala.
Han matado a mi papá. Y hecho a mi hija acá. Te proteja con todos tus niños.
Their allegations are disturbing, of forced evictions, sexual assault, and murder. They say Guatemala's court system is too corrupt to attain justice, and it's why they've come here, to try to hold a Canadian company accountable in a Canadian courtroom. Germán Chubchok is one of the plaintiffs who says he was left paralyzed when he was shot during a protest against Hudbay. For him, for all of them, the journey has been emotionally wrenching. This is not the first lawsuit of its kind filed against a Canadian company operating abroad. But the fact the plaintiffs are here and speaking publicly is extraordinary and has made a far-off story an achingly human one.
It is giving Canada a terrible reputation.
Advocates say Canada's mining industry has a track record of human rights and environmental abuses, and has the political backing in Canada and abroad to often act with impunity.
The Canadian mining industry is huge, it's growing, it's exploitative, it's giving Canada a terrible black eye in the global south.
In a statement to the CBC, Hudbay said its own investigation and eyewitness reports show the allegations are without merit, and said it makes sense to try the case in Guatemala where the alleged crimes occurred. It will be an uphill battle to have the case heard here, and it's already been an exhausting one, packed with lawyers' meetings and public events. No case like theirs has gone very far in Canada's courts, often for jurisdictional reasons. It's why there have been private members' bills pushing for more corporate responsibility. The NDP's Bill C-323 is the latest one.
I would argue that there's a way here, but with the Conservatives, there doesn't seem to be a will. And we have to get a hold of this because there's going to be many more court cases brought forward unless we figure out a way to deal with in a sensible way.
And while there is a sense of victory in getting through a day like this one, there is no denying this legal battle will be a long one, and any victory a hollow one.
They know very well that this is a broad political struggle, and that though they ought to get justice in the Canadian courts, that's not a guarantee and whatsoever. And personally, I think it's quite remote for all the wrong reasons.
They do have a lot of support, but while there is little hope, there is power in telling, they say, no matter who believes them. I may be poor and illiterate, she says, but I know when I stood in front of those lawyers, I told my truth. And that is how this remarkable trip ended. As they head back to their remote mountain villages, they say it's on a resigned note, yet full of resolve, to carry on a struggle regardless of what, if anything, comes of it. Joanna Romiliotis, CBC News, Toronto.